If you ever lived in or around Virginia in the 1970s, you were probably exposed to the story of the Bunny Man. In the tale, an escaped mental patient takes to gutting bunnies and hanging them from a bridge underpass. Later the maniac is said to have graduated to gutting and hanging teens in a similar manner. Locals were cautioned to never be caught near the underpass, which is now known to most people as Bunny Man Bridge on Halloween night. As most young and naive teens go, we don't usually believe in these stories, thinking to ourselves that our parents tell us these stories to stop us going out at night or to keep us away from a place that our parents themselves don't like. This legend apparently seemed to come alive around Halloween night. All our parents would tell us the story of the Bunny Man, and that on All Hallows Eve, he would go hunting around the tunnel. It always seemed to be around the tunnel and never like deep in the woods. If he caught anyone, then he would knock them out, take them to the tunnel, string them up and then just wait for them to awaken. When they did awake from the blackout, he would then toy with the first, making them beg for death. Only when they think the Bunny Man would let them go, he would then gut them, leaving all their insides spread all over the floor. For that reason, us teens never believed our parents of the Bunny Man legend. After all, it happened like 10 years ago and had never been a sighting of him since. We just thought they didn't like us teens going up to that bridge. The village that we lived in was fairly small with only a couple of thousand people, so as you can imagine, there is not much for us teen to do. When it came to Halloween night, we was too old to do trick-or-treating and staying in was a bore. What else could we do besides egg and loo rolling houses for fun? One night a couple of days before Halloween would start, a friend in our group suggested that we go up to Bunny Man Bridge with a recording device and do some ghost hunting, as they was interested in the legend of the Bunny Man. They thought the story was real and that the Bunny Man was dead. I did tell her myself that the story was made up by our parents to keep away from the underpass, but she would have none of it and complained to us all, "What else have we got to do?" She was right about this, as there was nothing to do in our small town. So with Halloween around the corner, we all decided what we was going to do, what we was going to take with us, and also who was going to take who. As with a party of about 10 teens, we would at least need 2 or 3 cars. Another problem we faced was where to park. Roll on 3 days and it's now the night of All Hallows Eve. Lucky enough we all arranged to meet at the local supermarket just so that we can all travel to Bunny Bridge together in case any of us get lost. This way it is a lot easier on all of us. At the supermarket I meet up with my mate who is really into the paranormal. He shows me to his car and I just couldn't believe my eyes. All the gadgets that he had with him. It was enough to make his own little TV show, but then again he does have a YouTube channel and loves to upload this kind of stuff. Amazing really that he has such a large fan base who all flock to his channel to watch his stuff. With all of us now here, we all gather into our designated cars and take the long hour-and-a-half journey. Lucky for me I just put a few games on my phone. Just for this occasion. The journey itself did seem short, which was a surprise to me, but I guess that is what happens when you take your mind off the journey and concentrate on something else. Hour and a half goes by and we are now at our location. We find a small area for parking just off the side of the road. We park all 3 of our cars there and start to take the small walk up to the underpass bridge. We are now at the underpass and I have to tell you now, it looked very airy. There was a translucent mist in the area. The lights that shone through had a glare making them look bigger than what they appear to be. A gust blew a chilling wind through the tunnel. It whistled as it passed several bricks sticking out of the wall. It seemed like there was also old bits of rope that hung of the side of the bridge, perhaps UNI students trying to scare people. With the ghost hunting equipment in hand, we now go into the tunnel with the recording device to try and catch any sounds there may be. We also have another device which also notify us of any ghosts in the area by lighting up. We spend about 10 minutes walking around and recording. We got curious and wanted to see if we had catched anything on the device. My mate rewound the recorder to the beginning and played forward. What we heard gave us chills from head to toe. There was a voice on the recorder. It was a rough voice, like someone who smoked fags all day long. Kill them all, it said. We all looked at each other, our faces white as a ghost. We look around again, making sure everyone was with us. However, there was 2 girls in our group that disappeared. We called out for 10 minutes. We again looked to each other thinking that they was playing a joke on us. One of the men in the group spoke up a loud voice just so they 2 girls could overhear. Fair enough, if they want to joke around then maybe they can make their own way home. Again, nothing could be heard from them. Now getting worried for these girls, we decided to split up and go look for them. They couldn't be far. We split up into 3 groups. One group would take one end of the tunnel, the other end, and the last group would search the forest. We must have searched for seems like almost an hour and there was no sight or trace of them at all. Then out of nowhere, we heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the road at the entrance of the tunnel. Thinking there was something wrong, we all ran together towards the tunnel. The other 2 groups was there gathered around the entrance like they was hiding something they didn't want us to see. When we got there, that is then we can see why the screaming. I just couldn't believe my eyes. I never thought this would happen. There hanging from the underpass was our 2 mates, both had been gutted like a fish with their organs all over the floor. Now that recording we heard Gad come back to haunt us. We can't leave them there, one of the group members said, but with a killer hunting us like animals there was no choice. We had to get into our cars, back into town and call the police. Another member of the group just started to scream and pointed down into the tunnel of the underpass. We all looked to where she was pointing and there we could see it. A man dressed up in a bunny outfit suit holding what appears to be a huge meat cleaver and hook. Without any thought, we all ran towards our cars, but the figure itself started to give chase too. Now our lives was on the line and we had to get out of this area. Lucky enough we all managed to get into the cars and head back into town. We all drove over to the police station and told them everything that we seen and heard, even gave them the recording of that haunting voice we heard on the recorder. The police went up to the Bunny Man Bridge. They found our friends strung up by the neck, their innards spread all over the floor. However, when they looked around, they could find no trace of the person. They actually believed one of us did it, but with no evidence none of us got charged. I think back to that terrible day and try to figure out how our friends disappeared without any trace, with no screams, nothing. I know now that I will never return to that place again, never.